Welcome in to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht. The stories you've heard and the ones you need to hear.
That stream of migrants into the U.S.
Horses really running them over, people being strapped. It's outrageous.
It was bad, and it shocked me. Our administration to have horses chasing down black people.
We're going to pass the bill this week.
Infrastructure.
This is a economic and political crisis of the Democrats' own making.
I'm optimistic about this week.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
So, Joe Biden is optimistic about this week. That's interesting. We've got some stories about Joe, and doesn't sound like he ought to be overly optimistic. The infrastructure package, apparently they pushed it back till today, then they pushed it back to Thursday. Now they're saying maybe it's next week that we'll vote for it. So I don't know what he's optimistic about.
I did hear a little bit of Joe's press conference today, or President Biden's press conference, excuse me. And to quote Donald Trump, I think he might have got a shot in the rear end this weekend because he seemed a little bit more alert for President Biden.
Well, he did get a shot today.
Well,
supposedly. Yeah. Now, they jabbed him with his Pfizer booster shot. I would love to know. We'll never find out. Well, maybe we will. Maybe one day, 20 years from now.
Come on, man.
I won't be around probably by then, but maybe we'll find out whether or not there was anything inside that syringe.
Yeah.
I look. If I was to place a bet right now, and I would take some long shot odds, there was nothing in there that had to do with the Pfizer booster. I mean, listen, the president of the United States, and again, Pfizer and what's the gal's name, head of CDC? She basically pushed it through. Walensky. On Friday, Centers for Disease Control Director Rochelle Walensky broke from her peer recommendations and announced that if you're over 65, we're recommending the Pfizer booster. And again, she was in the minority. The majority said, no, don't do it. Yeah, and now you're going to give it to the President of the United States? Come on. There's no way.
You follow the experts until it doesn't fit your whatever you've already. I mean, because 2 weeks earlier they were pushing the booster and then kind of got the surprise by the 16-2 vote or whatever it was.
I mean, again, this just does not make any sense. So if you're over 65, now their logic is, well, if you're over 65 and you got COVID, there's probably a greater risk that you would perish from COVID. But at the same time, if this booster is so good and you were, between the ages of 18 to 65, why wouldn't you give it to them too? They're only recommending it for those at 65. Well, if it's not good for somebody that's 25, how can it be? And I guess I know it's the risk reward ratio that they're trying to figure out. But if it's that questionable, and the majority of the CDC said don't do it, do you really think they gave it to Joe Biden? Unless they're ready to get rid of Joe and bring in Kamala.
That's the point. Yeah,
I do not. There's no way they gave him the real deal.
I honestly think he might have already had the booster. Because you think about what would happen now if Joe Biden tested positive for COVID. With
think about what would happen if something severely wrong happened to him from taking the booster.
Well, you never know it. Yeah,
no,
you would never know it. You wouldn't know it if he had COVID unless he was on his deathbed. If he tests positive for COVID, they will keep it under wraps. I guarantee it.
Anyway.
Speaking of wraps.
Rappers.
It's a good segue.
This is rather interesting. So we come into the studio this afternoon, and Benny and I are looking at one another and saying, okay, who's this guy R. Kelly? Robert Sylvester Kelly.
He's a singer-songwriter. And a record producer.
Now, Clark, is he rhythm and blues as in like Motown, or is he straight rapper?
R&B.
R&B.
With a little bit of rap.
What does that mean?
R&B, rhythm and blues. There you go.
Yeah, but I mean, is it rap or is it rhythm and blues? I mean,
It's supposed to be like slow music.
I think of R&B, you think of like Fats Domino or somebody like that. I mean, but
fair enough.
But he's more of a rapper.
Yeah, we can say that.
Well, the rapper is going to be serving some time.
He's done some pretty bad stuff.
He has done some unbelievably bad stuff. And if you've been following the news, and I have heard bits and pieces about this guy in the news for the last, I don't know, year, 18 months. Maybe he's gone on longer than that. But he has been found guilty by a jury. I think it was a majority of men. And it's in the story somewhere. But anyway, he's been found guilty on 9 counts of racketeering and sex trafficking cases. They had just announced it a few minutes ago. The U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York confirmed the conviction of on Twitter, of R. Kelly being convicted of racketeering by a federal jury in Brooklyn. R. Kelly found guilty on all counts that later released. Deliberations first began on Friday, so it didn't take them long. They were at a federal court in Brooklyn, 7 men, 5 women. They took the weekend off. The singer, 54, was facing 1 count of racketeering, including 14 underlying acts of sexual exploitation of a child, kidnapping, bribery, sex trafficking charges. Charges went back more than 2 decades. Kelly was also charged with 8 violations of the Mann Act, which makes it illegal to transport anyone across state lines for immoral purposes. The charges were based on an argument that the entourage of managers and aides who helped the singer meet girls, then keep them obedient and quiet, amounted to a criminal enterprise. Several witnesses gave explosive testimony in the trial, most of them laying out how Kelly subjected them to perverse and sadistic whims when they were underage. He has denied any wrongdoing. Kelly believed the music, the fame, and the celebrity allowed him to do whatever he wanted, U.S. Attorney Natita Shahada said in federal court. This guy was just sick, though. I mean, there were times where he would force young people, mostly young women, although it sounds like he was a little weird, to do all kinds of perverse things. Sometimes, now there was no one that said he held a gun to their head, but he had his pistol sitting right next to him while he was demanding perverse sexual acts to be done on him.
So he was an Epstein, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And apparently this had gone on for a long time. So now he will be spending time in jail for a long time.
I'm actually looking at this. I recognize one of his songs, I Believe I Can Fly, from the Space Jam movie back in the 90s. He was singer-songwriter for that.
Sorry, crickets. Sorry. Space Jam was the...
Michael Jordan movie.
And Bugs Bunny.
Come on, Clark. You ought to be able to fire
Space
up
Jam,
I Believe
wasn't
I
that
Can
Bugs
Fly.
Bunny and Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
I Believe I Can Fly.
Yeah.
No. I don't want to give this guy any notoriety.
Oh, no.
No, don't play it. Don't play it. This guy's a turd.
Yeah, he's...
Can I say turd on the air without being bleeped? This guy's a turd. Sorry, he is.
So that's
and by the way, at one point to punish someone that was getting out of line, he took feces and rubbed it on this person's face.
Oh my goodness!
So this guy is no, never ever play anything by this guy on our program ever. The Emperor of North Carolina, Governor Roy Cooper, to no one's surprise, in fact, when we first reported on the story, I think we said, "Oh, he'll veto this." Roy Cooper has vetoed a bill designed to block the state attorney general from entering collusive lawsuit settlements. Cooper's 11th veto this year, 64th since he took office in 2017. Now, we haven't had vetoes in this state going all the way back, but we have had them for 26 years. Back in 95. People are now probably regretting that they granted the governor veto power. It was approved by voters as an amendment to the Constitution in November of 95. It used to be the governor was pretty much toothless.
Yeah.
that it was the legislature that decided everything. Interesting, now that the Republicans are finally in charge, they've given the governor some power, some veto power. Perdue had 20 vetoes, Mike Easley 9, Pat McCrory 6, Jim Hunt never vetoed anything. Now, he was halfway through his second term when he got that power, but never really vetoed anything. Anyway, we talked about this bill after it passed the House and the Senate. And by the way, it passed right along party lines. So if they could override the veto, they would need to bring some Democrats over. Cooper said this bill is unconstitutional, unwise, would prevent the Attorney General from doing his job to protect the people of North Carolina. Now, if you remember, this was Senate Bill 360. They came up with this bill because last year, when we were going into the election, after the election process had started,
voting had started.
Early voting had already started. Mm-hmm. Stein gets together with the democratically controlled State Board of Elections and decided that they would extend how long people, I believe it was just an extension of how long people could absentee vote.
And also witnesses.
And they eliminated witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this was after the state legislature had passed laws for that upcoming election, well before the election process has started, and Governor Cooper had actually signed those laws. So it was fait accompli. You don't go back and undo that. He had no right to go back and undo that. So anyway, that is what this bill was all about. Let me put it this way. That is what got this bill started. So now they're saying the Attorney General cannot go out and come up with these rogue lawsuit agreements without the okay of the legislature, that they can't go out and have a lawsuit settlement that would undermine state law. But nonetheless, Cooper vetoed it, and he was talking about how this would not allow the Attorney General to represent the people of North Carolina, which is now let's stop and think about this. So the people of North Carolina elect their representatives. The representatives go to Raleigh and they pass law. The governor signs the law. So it is the law of North Carolina. You have one individual, the Attorney General, going to a state board that's controlled by the Democrats because we have a Democrat governor, and he usurps the state law. And yet Cooper comes out and says, well, if we pass this, then Stein couldn't represent the people of North Carolina. I think that's called a crock.
Yeah. It's the job of the Attorney General to represent the people of North Carolina,
the laws of North Carolina.
Yeah, number one, he's an advocate for the law.
Bingo.
Even if the law seems, the law is the law.
And he doesn't have a choice in it. And he is already on, what was the other issue that he just said, I refuse to represent, and the North Carolina legislature?
Oh, that was very recently.
Yeah, the North Carolina legislature had to go out and hire their own attorneys.
Yeah, sure did. I forget what that was. But, the Attorney General, though, even if he feels that the majority of people in North Carolina don't like law, that's not the way laws get changed based on mob rule.
Exactly.
He should be an advocate for the law, number one, not the fact that he thinks, well, we all know why he did it. The Democrat Party told him to do it, just like Mark Elias went to several other states in the United States.
Bingo.
But will the News and Observer talk about that as a reason? No.
Well, it was interesting. The News and Observer's headline on this story, now I was just reading from the Carolina Journal, what I've just read, but the way they frame it in their headline, North Carolina governor blocks GOP attempt to transfer powers from executive branch, a.k.a. the governors, to the legislature. Well, the Attorney General does not work for the governor.
No. They're just asking to follow the law that's on the books that is enacted and signed by a Democrat governor.
Right.
It's just amazing
which
to me.
Which follows the state constitution.
Follow the Constitution.
Which the Attorney General is supposed to uphold and defend.
But it was all based on the DNC. It was DNC rules.
Oh, absolutely. Lots more to talk about. 5618255 if you want to join in the conversation. Stay with us. More news and views coming up.
And on location at one of my favorite places in the whole planet, because this is some of the best food you're ever going to eat in your life. We are at Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. It's one of my hangouts. It's one of the places that I love. I got my friend Pietro Pasalacqua. How'd I do?
You did great.
Let's talk about the food. What makes this place? I know it's special Italian from authentic Italians, but tell us why it's so special.
Because everything we do, it's really what we came up on the menu from what we did at home, from my grandparents, my parents. So it's exactly what we eat at home, and that's the way we cook. That's why it's special.
And the atmosphere in this place is special also. From the bar to the two dining areas. You got two different dining areas, and now the weather's nice, so there's going to be a lot of folks that want to eat outside.
Yeah, we have two rooms. One room is designed a little different. We're also working on the patio to make it more attractive and more useful in the summer with a cocktail service. And we're always improving our services.
And, of course, my friends here, my buddy, Chef Massimo, who I love, and Sal and Pietro, you guys do a great job here. Not just Italian, but I had a great pork chop here the other night. You got great steaks, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're also adding filet mignon in the future on our menu. And Massimo is coming out with a really good side dishes for it. And so we're really excited to come out with new meats and fish dishes.
All right, Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. Same people that give you Marabello's and the great pizza that you get at Marabello's, but this is fine dining at Nino's. If you haven't been here, you don't know what you're missing. Come see them at Nino's on Red Banks Road. And Pietro, what is that famous saying about Nino's?
The food that you enjoy with people that you love.
Hi, I'm Richard Langley, and after helping my grandmother with an iPad she received as a gift, I realized how many other older adults may also have challenges with their own technology.
Happy Grandma specializes in helping with any tech issue you may be experiencing. Whether it's setting up a new computer or TV, having issues with the printer or Wi-Fi, or showing you how to use your tech, we want to help you. To make it easier, we come directly to you with a smile on our face.
When tech gets tough.
When tech gets tough.
When tech gets tough.
When tech gets tough, get happy.
Happy Grandma Senior Tech Support.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast, Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina, Southern Living's best small town.
This is your Drive at 5 and ENC with Tom Lamprecht. Welcome back to News and Views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome back in. It is September the 27th. It's also National No Excuses Day. I wonder what Joe feels about that.
Come on, man.
No Excuses Day.
National No Excuses Day. It's also National Chocolate Milk Day. Sounds good to me. I'll drink to that.
Unless you're lactose intolerant.
It is September the 27th, Sam Adams' birthday. Born on this day in 1722, the man many call America's greatest patriot. Faith in God and the virtue it produced was to him the country's greatest bulwark. Quote from him. This is interesting, and this is true, and it's never been more true than it is today. Samuel Adams said, while the people are virtuous, they cannot be subdued. But when they lose their virtue, they will be ready to surrender their liberties to the first external or internal invader. But if virtue and knowledge are diffused among the people, they will never be enslaved. That will be their great security. That is a great statement, and unfortunately, it's true. While the people are virtuous, they cannot be subdued. But once they lose their virtue, they will be ready to surrender their liberties to the first external or internal invader. And boy, are we seeing that.
Yes, never truer right now.
Taking a look at your weather forecast, it is going to be nice all week long. Tonight, clear, low around 61. Sunshine for Tuesday with a high around 88. Tomorrow night, more of the same, clear around 64. Wednesday, sunny, high near 83. So enjoy the weather while we've got it. The leaves are starting to fall. I think the leaves are falling more for the dryness than they are for the
it's been pretty dry.
Temperature.
last month.
So did you have a fire in the fire pit this weekend?
Oh, absolutely. Saturday night, yeah.
We had one. My wife and I sat out by the fire pit last night.
Beautiful stars out, too. Wow.
It was a nice weekend. Carolina Journal, Donna King wrote an interesting article. You sent this to me earlier today, and you, in your comments, said, you know what, this happened at UNCW, but it's happening at state universities, whether it be ECU, NC State, UNC, Asheville. It's happening at state universities all across our state, all across the nation, unfortunately. Donna King writes, describing a culture of silencing conservative voices at UNCW, one trustee was driven to quit last week with an openly critical post of Seahawk Nation on Facebook. Former UNCW Board of Trustee member Woody Wood revealed that what he sees as a troubling trend in the treatment of conservative faculty and students, quote, like too many other American universities, it punishes conservative voices by looking the other way, by perpetrating the double standard, by knowing that thousands of students engage in self-censorship, but doing nothing about it, White wrote. Woody White, I remember, now he's been in the state legislature, but I believe he ran in the primary against David Rouser.
I think
for that
so.
congressional seat, because I
Yep.
remember interviewing Woody a few years back when he was running for that.
That was the new district that kind of came up this way a little bit.
Yeah. Friday, September the 24th, UNCW Chancellor Jose Sartelli also resigned. Those have said that the resignation was already planned, but criticism of the university leadership has come in the wake of conservative professor Mike Adams' suicide last year, and later the online calls for violence against Republicans from a professor who was allowed to retain his position on the faculty. So this really comes out, and the reason why, according to this article, that Woody Wood had just said, I've had enough, although he does say in this article he hasn't given up completely on UNCW, but it was trying enough that he said, you know what, I've got to resign from this. But it really comes from the double standard. You had Mike Adams, a sociology professor, very conservative. He was forced to resign in 2020. He did end up winning a $700,000 lawsuit settlement from the university a few years back after they denied him a promotion. And basically, it was very obvious. I can't remember if I believe the university pretty much came out and said, because of his outspoken comments on, he actually was a published columnist in some publications, so they ended up having to settle with him for $700,000. Never really had a reason as to why Mike Adams ended up taking his own life, but he did commit suicide. But there was a lot of pressure on Mike Adams. I mean, he was constantly under the microscope. I don't know if he finally just broke and said, you know what, I've had it. But as Woody Wood says, there was another UNC associate professor, a guy named Dan Johnson, who posted on his Facebook page, and this was just prior to Mike Adams taking his own life. I think Mike Adams took his own life in August of 2020.
That sounds right.
He took his own life a week before his August 2020 retirement date. Earlier that summer, this guy, Dan Johnson, posted on his Facebook page, blow up Republicans. Haley Davis, a former student of Johnson's, told Campus Reform that she thought UNCW's handling of Johnson's case indicated the double standard. Putting away any personal political preference aside, I think this matter should be addressed and dealt with in the same manner that it would be if the word Republican was replaced with any other word. If the post stated blow up women, blow up homosexuals, blow up Catholics, Davis said it would be an entirely different story. Dan Johnson got a letter of reprimand, and that was it. And Woody White, rather. Did I call him Woody Wood earlier? I had a old friend named Woody Wood. Woody White, he just said, I'm sick of the double standard.
Well, you know, the university community, just about anywhere, higher education, like to stand on what they proclaim to be self-righteous, moral high ground of free and independent thought. But it's only if it's independent thought that they agree with, or the wokeness of the day. I mean, you see it all the time where conservatives or people that are not liberal or not progressive, I mean, maybe not even call them conservatives, even libertarians, I mean, they can't get a gig on campus to speak anywhere. They'll be banned.
Yep.
And it's just
that's exactly what White wrote.
Mm-hmm.
He said, free speech is tolerated, even celebrated, when it condemns conservative thought and speech. When it goes the other way, conservatives are shamed, canceled, and bullied.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say not just conservative, anything other than progressive liberal speech. Because, there's a lot of libertarians are not necessarily conservative. They're just very, I mean, I guess you could say they're more classical liberal in that they believe in the individual. Well, that's not what it's about on the campus now. You agree with what their thought and their opinion about every issue is, you're the problem.
When they say jump, you're supposed to say how high on the way up.
And it's no different than on the campus in this town.
Well, yeah, that's what we just said. UNCW is, it's probably very, very typical.
And they're going to lose good, and I've actually personally seen it. The universities all across the state are going to lose good board members that are there because they love the universities. They put their time, treasure, and talents in there, but they're tired of it, and you're going to see more of this.
Well, I mean, I liked the University of Maryland, where I graduated from. They call me up all the time. Hey, how about contributing? I said,
remember us? We love you.
Oh yeah, and it's just like, folks, I appreciate the education. That was a long, long time ago, but there's a lot of other things I would give to before I give to you. So just saying. But yeah, University of Maryland, UNCW, ECU, it's your choice. They play the same game just about at every state university. And if there's one that's not doing it, they're the exception rather than the rule.
The campuses, I mean, the progressive have played the long game, starting with higher education. Now they've gone to secondary education, and they're winning.
Yeah,
the long game is winning.
Fox News is reporting, as I mentioned earlier, the timeline for the House vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill keeps getting delayed. It was scheduled for today, then it was supposed to be Thursday. Now Biden has indicated it could end up getting pushed even into next week, amid the speculation that Democrats don't have enough votes to pass the $1.2 trillion bill before the $3.5 trillion spending package that progressives want alongside of it. And, of course, this is how Nancy wanted to do it. She had to have them both. But, I really do think it has gotten to the point that there are not philosophical moderates, but there are Democrats out there that are becoming moderate because they see the handwriting on the wall that 2022 is going to be a bloodbath for Democrats, even though it's more than a year away. They realize if I want to keep my job, I better do everything I can do to keep it. Is there enough of them that would come over and vote against this infrastructure bill to allow it to not go through, to keep it from going through? Even CNN, Town Hall's reporting on CNN, and Joe Biden's abysmal numbers, and just saying, you know what? The only thing that Joe has got going for him right now is it is October 1 of 2021 and not October 1 of 2022. But if these numbers don't change, and again, historically, the sitting president's first midterm, he loses seats. I think the only time that didn't happen was George W. Bush, because you had the 9/11 situation.
Mm-hmm.
And really, that was the only reason he didn't lose, because America was very united. You don't change horses in midstream kind of thing. But traditionally, historically, the sitting president loses some. But when your numbers are below 50%, and Joe's are well below 50%, you're in for a shellacking. That happened to Obama. Happened to Trump. It is highly likely it's going to happen to Joe. Highly likely.
And I wonder, I mean, what is the Democrat strategy? Is it to see what you can get passed with this infrastructure bill? I mean, will they all of a sudden say, okay, we're going to put a lot of goodies in here for various districts to make people vote for it? I mean,
I don't know. It's interesting because Chris Salisa, who writes a piece for CNN, writes, the best news out of the poll is, again, that it's 2021, not 2022, which means that Biden and the Democrat-controlled Congress have time to turn his numbers around. And then goes on to say, likely by finding a way to pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill and some sort of major budget proposal, although both those bills have an uncertain path forward at the moment. I think he's inferring to what you just talked about. But here's the thing. He's saying, well, boy, if you pass the infrastructure bill, that would really turn, the hopes of you being reelected and holding the House and the Senate, that would be really good in your favor. I don't think so. I mean, I think the very reason that they're even contemplating trying to shove this thing through is why his numbers are so bad now. I mean, there's a lot of other reasons, too, but I don't think the infrastructure bill is something that people say, oh, my goodness, I hope this passes. I mean, they see inflation tied to it. They see taxes going up. It ain't pretty. But, the American people that don't really dive into the details, they're not getting the truth about the infrastructure bill. Because generally, I mean, and all polls will tell you this, when you talk about infrastructure, most people think of roads and roads, airplanes. Yeah, it's something that they can see and put their hands on or use. They're all for it. And, I mean, you're not the mainstream media or corporate media, as most people like to call it now. I mean, they're not over there saying anything what's in this bill outside of infrastructure. They just keep calling it infrastructure. So suddenly everything is infrastructure. Well, to your point, and how people they don't dive in for the details. They hear the passing comments on the mainstream media headline news. Biden comes out and tweets that his Build Back Better plan cost $0. Our producer just said that's a lie. Yeah, you think?
That's that new math.
Well, and you can expect. I mean, guys like Benny and I are going to rip the president on this, and a lot of Republicans did rip the president on this. I mean, $3.5 trillion package, and then they want to have another 1.5 on top of that. But it was not just Republicans that ripped the president. Stephanie Murphy, a Democrat from Florida, she says, I don't think we can afford everything unless something changes. I have no choice but to vote no on every subtitle in the bill on its final passage. In the midst of the Democrats' infighting, Biden argued his social spending bill is an investment in working America and will cost nothing. And he actually, and again, I've said this before, but he constantly is saying, hey, pass this bill so we can keep inflation at bay. Quote, my Build Back Better agenda costs $0, Biden tweeted on Saturday. Instead of wasting money on tax breaks, loopholes, and tax evasion for big corporations and the wealthy, we can make a once-in-a-generation investment in working America. It adds $0 to the national debt. Representative Claudia Tenney, a Democrat from New York, this is the best line of all of them. She said, quote, I have to admit, I thought this was from a parody account when I first read it. It was disturbing to see that it was actually from our president. He thinks he can spend an unprecedented $3.5 trillion and not add a penny to the debt. Who's in charge? Scary. And again, comments like that go on and on and on. Do some of these Democrats actually realize, okay, if I vote for this, I'm done. I'm toast. I'm screwed. And I don't think it's I've got really, I've had a come to Jesus experience, and now I have strong convictions, and I've suddenly become a conservative. Although it's amazing how conservatives, even Democrats, will sound when it comes time to run for office. But once they get in there, they go right back to their liberal ways.
Yeah, I like to joke about. Remember when we had that conservative president, Barack Obama?
Yeah,
I mean, he actually seems
or
like
Jimmy Carter.
Yeah,
the good old days we had Jimmy Carter.
I mean, Barack Obama actually seems like a conservative compared to this administration.
Well, Jimmy Carter was happy that Obama became president because then he wasn't the worst president. Now Obama's happy that Biden's become president. Now he's not the worst president. How much, I suppose if we have Kamala Harris in there, Joe Biden will be happy about that because then he won't be the worst president. Gets worse and worse. Couple of tweets on the matter. Tony Schaefer tweeted, "Absolute lie. Build Back Better is code for gaining government control of means of production and energy. Pure communism. All taxes on corporations are passed on to the middle class and wealthy dodge them. Therefore, these taxes are going to impact the middle class." Seth Dillon tweeted, "They say the borders close. Hunter's emails were Russian disinformation. We won't leave any Americans behind in Afghanistan. Reins or whips. Trillions of dollars equals zero. It's good to know the grown-ups are in charge now." Well said. And then you've got, well, we got to take a break. We're behind time. But when we get back, the chant of 2021 continues. Loud and clear. You hear it everywhere. We'll talk about that when we get back.
Break the chain. Eat local. Tiebreakers.
Hey, this is Hank Hinton back here at Full Service Flooring in Winterville. I'm here today with Corey Little, who's the operations manager here at Full Service Flooring. Corey's been here 6 months, but you've been in construction a long time. Tell us about what you do here at Full Service Flooring.
Yeah, I got over here about 6 months ago. I've been in construction for, like I said, a little over 20 years, and I've known Tim for a long time now, and he's brought me over here to see what new kind of things I can bring to the store and to our customers. And I'm in charge of scheduling, and I don't know what else. I'm in charge of everything. It seems like we work together as a team and try to pull it all together. I might do a measure one day and do a commercial floor the next day, but we just kind of all work together and pull it all together at one time.
So what's new in flooring? What is the hot new thing?
The hot new thing is LVP or LVT, depending on what you're looking for, which look you're looking for. It's a waterproof product. It's absolutely fantastic. You can't really beat it.
A lot cheaper than hardwoods?
It is definitely a cost-effective alternative to hardwoods, yes, sir.
So, Corey, how is business right now?
And business is good. Despite the pandemic, we're still seeing a lot of new customers in the store, and we get an opportunity to introduce our products in a lot of different situations right now.
Corey, you've got a lot of experience in the construction industry. How is that helping you here with people, helping people with flooring here at Full Service Flooring?
Sure. I try to take the experiences that I've gained over my time in construction to help apply that to the flooring, whether it be with what the structure is made out of, the subfloor that we're going over top of, or maybe even just how it coordinates with your kitchen cabinets in construction or in your bathroom and how the tub and everything all ties together.
And a customer can just come here and see you anytime?
Absolutely. We're here 6 days a week, and we just love to see a new customer in here anytime. They can always call us and schedule something with us so we can make sure we have our time allotted for them.
Corey, thank you so much. That's Corey Little here at Full Service Flooring. Come see these guys. They're on Tilco Drive in Winterville, 756-9308 and fullserviceflooring.com.
Beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor.
First thing you should do after work.
I turn on the radio.
Check in with Tom and Benny.
Gotta know what's happening in my city. What's going on in my backyard.
Things that are happening locally.
I like the local news.
Things that I don't hear everywhere else.
For the local news you want.
Kept me informed for all of the local stuff, It let me know what was going on in the local community.
Eastern Carolina's news source is News and Views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Cousin Eddie is infamous. They are singing, well, they aren't singing his praises. They are chanting his name. There's a 4-letter word that goes before that, starts with F.
Oh, my.
It's not only in...
Frank Joe Biden?
Yeah. Well, is that 4 letters? It's not only in football stadiums now, all over. Again, this last weekend, week 4, and they're still chanting Joe's name with a word in front of that. But now, and I'd like to play some audio, but we'd lose our license. But they're doing it at concerts. They're doing it. Oh, and by the way, there's actually a Wikipedia page for this slogan. So if you want to find out more about it, you can. There are flags you can buy to fly. There are Christmas ornaments for sale. With the slogan on that.
I actually know someone who's got a flag.
There is at food courts, they're chanting it. They actually started chanting it at the Ryder Cup. Now, that surprised me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's in Wisconsin. Well, they stole the Wisconsin election as well, I think.
So there was a Luke Bryant concert. They started chanting it at the Luke Bryant concert. And Luke Bryant started playing a guitar accompaniment to it.
Accompaniment. Guitar player.
Yeah.
That's what "Oh, Where Brother Art Thou" reference. Never mind.
I saw that film. I don't remember that line.
Cue it up, Clark.
Anyway, Joe is. They're chanting your name, Joe.
He wouldn't understand.
Now this gets funnier or sadder. I don't know. Sunday night, Biden tweeted out, promising the American people, saying, quote, "As a Biden, I will never raise your tax. I swear on the name of Biden, I promise you, as a Biden, I will never raise your taxes 1 cent for those making less than $400,000 a year." Yes, really. Well, right there he's lying, because it's $400,000 per couple.
Yeah, I just got, matter of fact, I just got an email of what came out of House Ways and Means last week, and he's lying.
But to swear on your name as a Biden.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Well, not much.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the guy that is the serial plagiarizer. I mean, this guy, the first time he ran for president, he had to quit because they caught him plagiarizing. And it wasn't borrowing some ideas. It was borrowing somebody else's speech word for word. This is the same guy that said he wouldn't leave any Americans behind in Afghanistan, right?
Yeah, same guy that he claims all these honorary degrees he has. He doesn't have them. I mean, he's a habitual liar, really. I mean,
he repeated those false claims about his black buddy conductor on the Amtrak train back and forth. He lied about that. I mean, he's lying about the Wuhan virus. It's unbelievable that this guy.
Well, he's been on the government dime for almost 50 years, so I guess he's gotten pretty good at it. And sometimes, I mean, you've seen people that they tell a lie so much they actually believe them.
Yeah, he's probably. And when you have the media that never questions you, you never really get in any significant trouble, and you continue to have your liberal pals kiss your butt, for lack of a better way to put it. Shaquille O'Neal is done, Fox News is reporting this afternoon. The four-time NBA champion, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, renounced his celebrity status in an interview with the New York Post. The 7'1" former L.A. Laker superstar, one of the most recognized athletes, is done with the glitz and glamour. These celebrities are going freaking crazy, and I don't want to be one. I denounce my celebrityness. Is that a word? My celebrityness today. I'm done with it, he told the New York Post. I don't want to be in this category. Celebrities are crazy. I do like this guy.
I agree 100%.
Don't call me that anymore. These people are out of their freaking mind. How many people treat what they're out of the freaking mind with how they treat people and what they do and what they say. That's never been me. I've never been wanted to look like that.
I like Shaquille O'Neal.
I do too.
He's he's put his money where his mouth is as far as he's helped a lot of organizations over the years, and I mean he's a good example of a guy that he left college early. went to the NBA, but while he was in the NBA, he's actually got a PhD. He went back to school, got his master's, got his PhD.
He's a sheriff, too.
Yeah.
He's a sheriff?
And he's big time successful in the
Papa John's
and in endorsement world in general.
Oh, yeah.
But he's talented. You see him on commercial. He's
Oh, yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
He's funny.
He's good. He's good. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Your trade is in high demand. That means your trade-in value has never been hotter. Get to Greenville Toyota now. We'll pay more for your trade than ever before. Get cash on the spot, even if you don't buy from us. At Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Sawyer's Fun Park in Winterville is now open. With over 40,000 square feet of family fun, daily money-saving deals, and a full-service restaurant, Sawyer's Fun Park is guaranteed to have something the whole family will love. Test your ninja skills on our 2-story obstacle course or head over to one of our 5 rock walls and race your friends to the top. And when you've worked up an appetite in our laser tag arena or our one-of-a-kind ropes course, grab a table over at the restaurant and try our world-famous Southern Monster Fries. Reserve your spot today at SawyersFunPark.com and come join in on the fun.
My name is Dr. Neeti Armistead, Chief Medical Officer for Vidant Health. The following simple steps will help keep you and your community safe. Stay home as much as possible, wear a mask when out in public, avoid large gatherings, practice social distancing, and wash hands often. It's also important not to delay needed care. Vidant has taken important steps to provide you and your family with a safe environment. Learn more about COVID-19 and Vidant's response. Call 252-847-8000 or visit vidanthealth.com/COVID-19.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Back to news and views. Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
A federal judge this afternoon agreed to an unconditional release next year of John Hinckley Jr., the man who tried to assassinate President Ronald Reagan back in '81. It's hard to believe it's been 40 years ago.
Wow. 40 years.
So he can be released next year if he remains mentally stable and continues to comply with the conditions of his current release order. Isn't that a little odd that you say, oh, yeah, you can get out if you continue to be mentally stable? I mean, it seems to me you would wait until, okay, this guy is mentally stable. I just saying. If he hadn't tried to kill the president, he would have been unconditionally released a long time ago, said Judge Paul Friedman, according to the Associated Press. But everybody is comfortable now that all of the studies, all the analysis, and all the interviews and all the experience with Mr. Hinckley. Since Mr. Hinckley moved to Williamsburg, Virginia from a Washington hospital in 2016, court-imposed restrictions have required doctors and therapists to oversee his psychiatric medication and therapy. He has been barred from having a gun. That's probably a good choice. He can't contact the Reagan children, other victims, or other families, or actress Jodie Foster, who he was obsessed with at the time of the 1981 shooting. That's right. That was, what was that?
Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver, yeah.
Robert De Niro.
Yeah. Friedman and Hinckley, now 66, has displayed no. I'm sorry, Friedman said Hinckley, now 66, has displayed no symptoms of active mental illness nor violent behavior. He's actually been out with his, I think, living with his mom.
I think
in
so.
Williamsburg for several years now. So,
someone mentioned that he was on Instagram, Instagramming music. But
yeah, he released. That's exactly right. He released some kind of song that was,
yeah, I haven't checked it out.
He performed it. Hinckley performed
I
it.
think so.
That's interesting. Yeah. I wonder what the lyrics were. The Federalist is reporting a group of parents in northeastern Indiana have reached their breaking point. They're suing the Republican governor of Indiana. What's the guy's name? Holcomb, I think it is.
I think so.
Yeah, Holcomb. They're just sick of the fact that you look at these football stadiums. They're full of fans, no masks. They don't know whether they got the vaccination or not. And I'm not knocking that. I think that's fine. But at the same time, you've got that going on. You've got students that in Indiana are forced to wear a mask, and if they've come in contact with anyone that tests positive, they've got to quarantine for 2 weeks, even though they're perfectly healthy. It's and the parents are just saying, we've had enough. They're suing the governor. They're just saying, look, you have, like the governor of North Carolina, he's got these emergency powers for 30 days. He's extended them now 17 times. And this guy's a Republican. So
the key is he didn't want to stand up to the Notre Dame football lobby.
Is that what it is?
In Indiana. But he will put the kids through heck.
Unbelievable. Hey, listen, have a great night. Stay safe. We'll do it again tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We'll see you. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right, all right, all right.
We're on location at Fabric and Home Furnishings, and I'm back with my friend Lisa Pendry. And Lisa's been telling me about all the great renovations that have been going on here in the store, and I've been looking around, and it looks fantastic. Tell us what you've done here.
Well, we've knocked some walls down, we've painted, we've added some new vendors, lots of new exciting things going on. So we're making room for everybody to get what they need to transform their homes.
Looks fantastic in here. Last time we talked, you were saying that you were able to deliver a lot faster than most other furniture stores. Is that still the case?
It is. It's changed a little bit, but we're still looking at around 8 to 10 week delivery, and we do sell our floor samples right off the floor.
All right, we always say that Fabric and Home Furnishings is more than just a fabric store, so tell us what the more is all about. When people come in, what should they expect?
Well, we love to get to know our customers. I have the best crew I've ever had, and everybody on my team is an interior designer. So we offer in-home design service, which we always have, but now they can each come out to your home after they work with you in here, figure out what's going on in your residence or your commercial property to pull it together and help you make everything beautiful.
You got great folks here.
I do.
I can tell you, I haven't gotten to know them. It's like a family when you come in here, and everybody gets along well, and you can tell that these guys and gals really know what they're talking about when it comes to interior design.
They do, and that's really what makes us different. We offer complete in-home design service. We don't charge a by-the-hour fee. It's a flat one-time fee. We work with you in here, in your home, in your business, and help pull everything together.
All right, it's more than just a fabric store. Fabric and Home Furnishings in Arlington Village. Come see this lady. She's fantastic. Fabric and Home Furnishings. Come see the renovations here in Arlington Village. And thank you for the visit today.
Thank you, Henry.
All right, you got to come see what they've done in the store here on Arlington Boulevard in Arlington Village.